In this video, we'll uncover the most valuable Washington quarter dollar you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these coins so special, how much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. First up, the 1966 Washington quarter is part of the U.S. Mint's ongoing production of Washington quarters that began in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. The 1966 coin itself is not a particularly rare year, but when paired with unique errors, like the D-scratch missed error mint mark, its value can skyrocket in today's market. The 1966 quarter saw a mintage of over 1.8 billion coins, making it one of the more common years for the series. The vast number of coins produced in 1966 means that most examples you come across will be in circulation or in less than ideal condition, but coins with errors, particularly minting errors, are highly coveted. The Washington quarter, as we know it, features a portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan on the obverse. On the reverse, the eagle, which has become a symbolic representation of the United States, is surrounded by a laurel wreath and the inscription, United States of America. The design is simple yet elegant, giving the quarter a timeless quality. The 1966 Washington quarter, like many others in the series, features the standard composition of 90% silver and 10% copper, making it both aesthetically appealing and valuable for its metal content, especially during periods when silver prices are high. The D-scratch missed error mint mark is one of the most intriguing aspects of this particular coin. Typically, the mint mark for a coin is struck in a specific location on the reverse side of the coin, below the eagle's tail feathers. However, due to a striking error, the mint mark in some of these coins may be completely scratched off or not fully struck, which significantly reduces the quality of the mark, or in some cases, it may appear in a distorted manner. What sets this error apart is its rarity, while the scratch is a simple mistake. It's also a clear sign of a mishap during the production process, which leads to its increased collectability. This flaw makes the coin much more valuable, as collectors often seek out these rare error pieces to add to their collections. When you consider its high mintage and the rarity of this specific error, the value of a 1966 Washington quarter with the D-scratch missed error mint mark is substantial. Coins in fine condition with such a noticeable error can reach prices that far exceed their face value. In today's market, a 1966 Washington quarter with a scratch missed error mint mark in fine condition can fetch anywhere between $40,000 depending on the exact condition, the prominence of the error, and the current demand in the auction market. For those in very fine or better condition, prices could skyrocket, with collectors bidding intensely for the opportunity to own a piece of U.S. mint history. While the overall market for Washington quarters is generally steady, errors such as this one generate high demand, particularly among advanced collectors and those focused on error coins. As the numismatic world continues to appreciate the significance of these rare anomalies, the value of these unique coins could continue to rise in future years. Next up, the 1979 Washington quarter marks the beginning of a new era for U.S. coinage, as it was produced just after the end of the silver era for circulating quarters. In 1965, the U.S. Mint ceased minting quarters with silver content, and by 1979, quarters were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. This composition, which consists of 75% copper and 25% nickel, made the coins more affordable to produce and more durable for circulation. The 1979 quarter saw a significant mintage, with billions of these quarters being struck during the year. However, as the years pass, the number of these coins in excellent condition starts to dwindle, making well-preserved examples with unique errors stand out. The obverse of the 1979 Washington quarter showcases the same iconic portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan. On the reverse side, the eagle perched on the olive branch remains a constant symbol of strength and unity. The design is both patriotic and functional, but it's the error on this coin that truly makes it special. The most notable feature of the 1979 quarter, especially for error collectors, is the D-error mint mark, which is often irregularly struck or partially damaged. Some coins from this year also exhibit damage to the reverse, such as deep scratches that obscure or distort the original design. These flaws might have been caused during the striking process or from handling after the coin left the mint. The D-error mint mark is what sets the 1979 quarter apart from other coins of the same year. The mint mark was intended to be crisp and clearly visible, but due to a striking error, it often appears in a variety of unusual forms. Some of these errors result in mint marks that are barely visible or look faint and worn. Others have mint marks that are improperly placed or entirely absent, leading to even greater collectability. Furthermore, the scratches and reverse damage found on this coin add to its rarity and intrigue. While most damaged coins are considered to have lower value, those with errors or unique characteristics like this one are often prized by collectors, especially when the damage is an integral part of the coin's story. In today's market, a 1979 Washington quarter with the D-error mint mark, scratches, and damage on the reverse can be valued at approximately $10,000 depending on the prominence of the error and the overall condition of the coin. If the coin is in better condition with fewer scratches and a more noticeable error, its value could go as high as $30,000 or more. This specific error coin's value is heavily influenced by the growing popularity of error coins among collectors and investors. Collectors who specialize in Washington quarters or in minting anomalies are particularly keen to add these types of coins to their collections. As the market for error coins continues to grow, prices could increase significantly over the coming years, especially if these coins become harder to find. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter with a large date without a mint mark is a coin that stands out for both its rarity and its intriguing history. To understand the significance of this particular coin, we need to first explore its background, design, and historical context. The year 1967 was a significant period for the United States, marking the middle of the tumultuous 1960s. This decade was a time of dramatic change, both politically and socially, with the civil rights movement gaining ground, the Vietnam War dominating the headlines, and a rising counterculture challenging established norms. Amidst all this, the U.S. Mint continued its job of producing currency that would circulate across the country. In 1967, the Washington quarter was part of the regular series of U.S. coins. But something subtle yet important occurred that would affect the value of certain quarters in the future. The shift in design. The large date variant of the 1967 Washington quarter was minted in response to changes in the coin's design format. In this case, the large date refers to the size of the numerals on the coin's obverse side, which features the portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This variant has a noticeable difference when compared to other quarters from the same period that feature smaller, more compact numerals. As for its market value, the 1967 Washington quarter. Large date without a mint mark. In fine condition holds a particular allure for collectors. Unlike some other years, which were produced in higher numbers or feature specific mint marks. The 1967 without a mint mark is considered by some numismatists to be rarer. This rarity stems from the lack of a mint mark, which in this case simply means that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, where the absence of a mint mark was typical. Although this coin's value is not sky-high in comparison to some other rarities, its scarcity and condition significantly increase its worth. In today's auction market, a 1967 Washington quarter in fine condition could fetch anywhere from $58,000, depending on the specific circumstances of the sale, the auction house, and the buyer demand. If the coin is in exceptionally good fine condition with minimal wear and clear features, the value could even reach higher figures, sometimes in the $79,000 range. The absence of the mint mark adds an element of mystery and uniqueness that intrigues collectors. The 1967 Washington quarter has an interesting history when it comes to mintage. The U.S. Mint produced a substantial number of quarters in 1967, but what distinguishes this year from others is the change in the design elements used to engrave the coin. It was a transitional period for U.S. coinage, as the Mint adjusted some features to improve efficiency and coin production methods. The coin's obverse depicts the famous bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, which has become one of the most recognizable features of the U.S. quarter. On the reverse side, we see the eagle perched with wings spread, holding an olive branch and arrows. This design was meant to symbolize the strength and peace of the United States. These timeless elements continue to define the Washington Quarter series and hold immense significance in American coinage history. What makes the 1967 large date version particularly interesting is the size of the numerals on the date. The difference between the large and small date is very subtle, but collectors can easily distinguish the two by looking at the numerals on the coin's obverse. For example, the 7 in 1967 is noticeably larger than on the small date version, and this minor difference plays a role in how these quarters are classified and valued. For many collectors, errors or subtle variations in a coin's design can be one of the most exciting aspects of numismatics. The 1967 Washington Quarter has its own set of interesting features, though there isn't a widely known error associated with this specific year and design. The real collector interest comes from the large date variant, especially when it's in fine condition or better. The minting process itself, although efficient, was not flawless, and these subtle design distinctions create an ongoing interest for collectors who enjoy the hunt for rarities and variations. There's also a significant amount of interest in the condition of the coin. Quarters from the 1960s tend to be heavily circulated, and finding one in fine condition can be a challenge. The large date without a mint mark, in particular, is often sought after by those who focus on collecting Washington quarters from the 1960s and beyond. In conclusion, the 1967 Washington Quarter. Large date. Without mint, mark in fine condition holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Its rarity, historical context, and distinctive design features make it a valuable coin in today's market, and its price can fluctuate depending on its condition. Next up, the 1981 Washington Quarter, featuring a large date with a P-error mint mark, is another fascinating coin that has captured the attention of collectors due to its unique characteristics. This coin stands out for both its design and the mint error associated with it, making it highly sought after in the world of numismatics. Let's explore the historical background, design features, and why this coin has generated so much interest in the collector community. By the time 1981 rolled around, the United States had already undergone several key changes in its coinage design and production methods. The Washington Quarter, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, had gone through multiple redesigns since its inception. By the early 1980s, the design by John Flanagan remained unchanged, but the way these coins were produced was undergoing significant changes. The U.S. Mint had made efforts to improve the consistency and efficiency of minting processes, which led to some unintended consequences, one of which was the error seen on the 1981 quarter. This error is significant for collectors because the P mint mark, which usually indicates a coin produced at the Philadelphia Mint, was erroneously placed on a coin that was part of the regular Washington Quarter series. The inclusion of the P mint mark on coins dated 1981 is considered a minting error because the P mint mark wasn't supposed to be used on quarters until 1980. This small but notable mistake creates an intriguing piece of U.S. coinage history. In the current market, a 1981 Washington Quarter with the P error mint mark in good condition can have a value ranging from $17,000 depending on its exact condition and how it is graded by professional coin graders. The P-error mint mark is rare enough that it generates considerable interest from both collectors and investors, particularly because the error adds to the coin's rarity and uniqueness. The mintage of the 1981 Washington Quarter was substantial, as it was part of the regular series of quarters being produced for circulation at the time. Unlike some other years where special commemorative designs were issued, the 1981 Washington Quarter stuck to the classic design featuring George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. The coin's large date feature was part of a broader trend in the early 1980s as the U.S. Mint began to standardize coin designs and production processes. The P mint mark error is particularly fascinating because the mint mark is often a crucial identifying feature of a coin's origin. In 1981, the mint mark was supposed to be omitted for quarters produced at the Philadelphia Mint, making this coin with a P mint mark an outlier. This error was the result of a production mistake, but it has since become one of the most coveted varieties of the Washington Quarter series. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for these error coins due to their scarcity and the historical significance of the minting error. As with many other error coins, the P mint mark error on the 1981 Washington Quarter has created a lot of interest among collectors. The appeal of error coins lies in their rarity and the story behind their creation. When a minting mistake like this occurs, it makes the coin not only a piece of U.S. history, but also an exciting treasure for numismatists. Collectors often seek out these coins for their error status, and this particular variety has developed a strong following. The large date combined with the P error mint mark makes this coin a highly desirable addition to any collection. Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned numismatist, the 1981 Washington Quarter with the P mint mark error represents a fascinating chapter in the ongoing evolution of U.S. coinage. In summary, the 1981 Washington Quarter with the P error mint mark in good condition is a coin that stands out both for its error status and its place in the history of U.S. coinage. Its value in the current market reflects both its rarity and the growing interest in error coins, making it a prime candidate for collectors looking to expand their portfolios with something truly unique. Next up, the 1984 $quarter Washington Quarter, which was introduced in 1932, has been an iconic part of the U.S. coinage system. By 1984, the coin had undergone several design changes, including the famous obverse by John Flanagan depicting George Washington. The reverse of the quarter, designed by William Cousins, shows a heraldic eagle. The 1984 Washington Quarter, however, is not known for its design changes, but rather for an important error that makes it a standout in the world of coin collecting. The 1984 Washington Quarter with the large date is part of a regular circulation set, but due to an error at the mint, certain quarters from this year were struck with the wrong mint mark, specifically the P mint mark, which is significant because it was only introduced in 1980. The error occurred when a small number of coins were struck with a P mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint, leading to a limited supply of these rare pieces. The 1984 quarter was minted in relatively high numbers, but not all of them were affected by this error. The error coin, which was struck in fine condition, is highly prized by collectors. The mintage for the entire 1984 Washington Quarter series was around 595 million coins, making it a common coin in most forms. However, the special P mint mark error, although rare, has made the coin extremely valuable, particularly for those that are in fine or uncirculated condition. Design features of the 1984 Washington Quarter are similar to those of earlier years. The obverse shows a profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, and the reverse shows the classic heraldic eagle. The large date on these quarters is another distinguishing feature for collectors who want to identify the particular error. This error, where the coin mistakenly bears the P mint mark rather than a D or S mint mark, which was expected for Philadelphia-struck coins at the time, has caused a significant amount of excitement in the coin collecting community. Error coins are often more valuable than their regular counterparts because of their scarcity and the unique nature of the mistake. The P error quarters from 1984 are very much sought after by serious collectors, and those in fine condition can fetch impressive prices at auction. This is especially true when the coin is graded and verified by professional grading services, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation or Professional Coin Grading Service. Many collectors who are interested in U.S. error coins are particularly drawn to the Washington Quarter due to its long history, with this particular mint error making it stand out from the regular coins in circulation. At auction today, the 1984 Washington Quarter with a P error mint mark can sell for anywhere between $2,000 to $9,000 depending on its condition. If the coin is graded in fine or higher condition, collectors may be willing to pay a premium for it. The demand for error coins has continued to grow, and this one is no exception, especially for those coins that were minted in Philadelphia and contain the unexpected P mint mark. Many auction houses have seen this error coin consistently increase in value over the years. While the error itself may not seem like a huge mistake, In the grand scheme of coin errors such as a die break or double strike, the rarity of the error makes it a highly desirable item in the marketplace. If you own one of these coins, consider having it appraised to see what it could fetch in today's market. The 1984 Washington quarter with the P mint mark error has seen its market value increase steadily as more collectors become aware of it. For those in the numismatic world, this coin represents a great investment opportunity. Coins with historical context and those with errors are always sought after, as they provide a unique snapshot of coin production mistakes that are rare in circulation. Next up, 1996, when the United States Mint produced another Washington quarter that would eventually gain recognition in the coin collecting world. The 1996 Washington quarter is part of a larger series of coins in circulation during the 1990s, but what sets this coin apart is its uncirculated condition and the unique features that caught the eyes of collectors. The 1996 Washington quarter, in particular, holds value because of its mintage and the fact that a significant number of these coins were stored in uncirculated condition due to collectors' interest at the time. These quarters were part of the ongoing efforts by the U.S. Mint to produce high-quality detailed coins that would appeal to both collectors and general circulation. The design features of the 1996 Washington quarter are nearly identical to previous issues, with George Washington's portrait on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. However, what makes this coin special is its perfect uncirculated state, which is a major attraction for collectors. The 1996 Washington quarter, which was struck in relatively high numbers, boasts a mintage of over 1.4 billion coins across all minting locations. However, despite the high mintage, the demand for these coins in uncirculated condition has only increased over time. The 1996 quarter also featured the traditional large date that was characteristic of this time period, making it an easy identification for collectors. As part of the regular design set, the coin was struck at both the Denver and Philadelphia mints. The coin with the D mint mark, produced at the Denver Mint, is particularly sought after in uncirculated condition. In terms of market value, the 1996 Washington quarter with a D mint mark in uncirculated condition is one of the most highly valued of the 1996 series. Although not a rare coin in the traditional sense, the uncirculated state in which many of these coins have been preserved has made them increasingly rare in today's market. Collectors are eager to find quarters that have been carefully stored away for decades, as they have retained their original quality and mint luster. Coins in uncirculated condition can fetch anywhere between $25,000 at auction, depending on their grade. A coin that is professionally graded as MS 65 or higher can expect to sell for the higher end of this range, or even more. Auction results indicate that well-preserved 1996 quarters have been in strong demand, especially as they come to market more infrequently. There is no significant minting error associated with the 1996 Washington quarter, but its uncirculated condition alone makes it a popular coin for those who collect based on mint quality and preservation. The coin holds particular interest for those collecting the Washington quarter series or for those who have a specific interest in 1990s U.S. coinage. Collectors of Washington quarters are especially drawn to this coin due to its high-quality preservation. Coins like these often form the cornerstone of any serious collection, and the 1996 D mint mark example, being in uncirculated condition, makes it a desirable piece for investors and collectors alike. Whether you are looking to complete a set of Washington quarters or simply want a high-quality piece for your collection, this coin is a worthwhile investment that holds both historical value and appeal. Next up, the Washington quarter, one of the most iconic coins in the history of American currency, was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Designed by artist John Flanagan, the Washington quarter initially featured a left-facing portrait of George Washington, with an eagle on the reverse. Over the decades, the design has evolved, but the general appearance has remained a symbol of American pride. By 1998, the Washington quarter had undergone various design changes, including the State Quarters program that began in 1999, which featured unique designs for each state. However, in 1998, the standard design was still in use, with the obverse showing the bust of Washington and the reverse showcasing the eagle, similar to earlier designs. The 1998 Washington quarter with a large date and P mint mark is especially notable because it was one of the last quarters minted before the transition to the state quarters program. Its status as a large date coin refers to the size of the numbers on the coin's date, which made it distinct from other years. As of today, the 1998 Washington quarter with P mint mark in fine, circulated condition is valued between $21,000 depending on the exact condition and the auction market. While this may not sound extremely high, considering the mintage numbers, the rarity of certain conditions, and collector interest, the value can surge at higher-grade auctions or in private sales. In the past few years, these coins have seen an increase in demand, mainly because of the relative scarcity of high-quality pieces in circulation. Fine condition coins, which display noticeable wear but still maintain readable details, are among the most common in the market. But coins in better conditions, such as extremely fine or even mint state, are where the higher auction prices are seen, pushing the value to around $30,000 or even higher when the coin is well preserved. The mintage of the 1998 Washington quarter was substantial, with the U.S. Mint producing millions of these coins. However, even though the mintage is relatively high, the condition and date of the coin play significant roles in its current value. For the 1998 Washington quarter, approximately 577 million quarters were minted across all branches, including the PD and S mint marks. However, coins from the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P mint mark, are particularly attractive to collectors, as they are part of a distinctive group with a rich history of minting operations. The 1998 quarter's production was also part of a broader period of transition for the Mint, marking a time of significant technological advancements and innovation. However, because the quarters were largely produced in massive quantities to circulate among the American population, coins in higher-grade conditions have become increasingly rare and valuable. The design of the 1998 Washington quarter remains largely unchanged from earlier issues, featuring the well-known bust of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. This design has become iconic, making the Washington quarter an essential part of American numismatic history. The reverse features a simple eagle in flight, carrying an olive branch, a symbol of peace. A key aspect of the 1998 Washington quarter is its large date design, which features digits that appear noticeably larger compared to other years, giving this coin a distinct look that collectors covet. Collectors and investors often seek these specific design features for their uniqueness and historical context, as it represents a specific year of minting before the release of the State Quarters series. While the 1998 Washington quarter isn't known for having significant errors like some other coins, collectors are still drawn to it due to its large date design and its connection to the end of an era before the transition to the State Quarters program. Coin collectors and investors often look for coins with unique traits, and in the case of the 1998 quarters, the large date is a particularly attractive feature. One of the most popular aspects of the 1998 quarter is its appeal to variety collectors. Enthusiasts of the Washington Quarter series are always on the lookout for minor variations in the minting process, and the large date is one such variation that stands out. Coins from different mints. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco also hold varying levels of interest depending on their rarity. The Philadelphia Mint's P mint mark is particularly important here because it stands for a mint that has seen a fascinating history. For many collectors, coins with the P mint mark hold a higher value simply because they were produced in this significant minting facility. Next up, the 1991 Washington quarter is part of a special series of coins that were minted during a pivotal time in American numismatic history. While not as famous as the state quarters that followed, the 1991 Washington quarter is highly regarded by collectors for its uncirculated condition and pristine details. During the early 1990s, the U.S. Mint was focused on refining its production techniques to meet the increasing demand for coins. This period marked a time of transition as the U.S. Mint prepared to introduce the State Quarters program starting in 1999. While the 1991 Washington quarter wasn't part of that program, it nonetheless represents a key period in American coinage. In uncirculated condition, the 1991 Washington quarter with D mint mark can be valued around $8,000 depending on the specific grade and condition of the coin. The price can fluctuate based on demand, with the highest auction values being reached by pieces in pristine, mint state condition. Uncirculated condition refers to coins that have never been used in circulation, retaining all of their original detail, luster, and features as if they had just been struck by the mint. These coins are particularly valuable because they represent the ideal state of preservation, making them highly sought after by collectors. The mintage of the 1991 Washington quarter was extensive, with the Denver Mint producing the D Mint mark version in large quantities. The total mintage of the 1991 Washington quarter was over 800 million coins across all mint marks. However, coins from the Denver Mint, denoted by the D Mint mark, are generally in higher demand due to the slightly lower mintage when compared to the Philadelphia and San Francisco versions. The design of the 1991 Washington quarter remains faithful to the original Flanagan design from 1932, featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle in flight on the reverse. The reverse design of the eagle was one of the main design elements of the coin, symbolizing the United States' values of peace and freedom. The large date design of the 1991 quarter is a distinguishing feature, where the numbers of the year appear larger than previous years, adding to its appeal among collectors. The D Mint mark signifies that it was minted at the Denver Mint, which is an important factor for collectors who focus on mint marks. Like the 1998 quarter, the 1991 Washington quarter does not feature many significant errors. However, its uncirculated condition and large date design have generated strong interest from collectors. Coins that are in perfect uncirculated condition are particularly valuable, as they are not affected by wear, scratches, or discoloration. Collecting interest in the 1991 Washington quarter is driven by its relatively high mintage combined with its uncirculated status. Collectors also appreciate the coin's design features and connection to a transitional period in U.S. coinage history. Next up, the 1985 Washington quarter dollar is part of the ongoing series of quarters that were initially introduced in 1932, honoring the first president of the United States, George Washington. The design was created by John Flanagan and featured a profile of Washington on the obverse. The reverse depicts a bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with an olive branch in its talons, representing the nation's strength and peace. Over the years, the Washington quarter has been minted in various compositions and designs, with significant changes over the decades. By 1985, the coin was produced in cupronickel-clad composition and was still part of the standard circulating coinage used in the United States. However, there are key details that make the 1985 large date with the P mint mark in fine condition a notable collectible. The 1985 Washington quarter was minted at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint is especially interesting, as it produced both the regular quarters and proof coins, but it's the quarters from Philadelphia with a P mint mark that are of particular interest here. The mintage of the 1985 Washington quarter was substantial, with approximately 520 million coins produced across all 3 mints. However, what makes the P mint-marked version of this coin so valuable is the large date variety. The difference in the date size was the result of a change in the die used during the production process. While this change may seem minor, it has led to a higher level of interest from collectors, as certain varieties of coinage are always in demand. In fine condition, the coin has been circulated for a period of time, meaning it's no longer in mint condition, but the wear from circulation is minimal. Coins in this state are typically priced at a more accessible value than uncirculated specimens, but are still valuable due to the large date and the specific mint mark. One of the distinguishing features of the 1985 large date variety is the size of the numbers in the date on the obverse. These large numbers were created when the mint used new dies, and this change has led to the coin's collector interest. In today's auction market, the value of a 1985 Washington quarter with a P mint mark in fine condition varies depending on the current demand. As of recent auctions, these coins have been selling for anywhere between $39,000, depending on factors such as the coin's level of wear, toning, and whether it's been properly graded by a reputable numismatic authority. The difference in value comes from how collectors perceive the coin's rarity. While the 1985 Washington quarter in general is not an extraordinarily rare coin, its specific attributes, particularly the P mint mark and large date variety, make it an interesting piece for many. The overall mintage numbers may be large, but fine condition examples with these distinct features tend to attract dedicated collectors, which pushes the value upward slightly. Collectors of Washington quarters are always on the lookout for minting errors. And while the 1985 large date with P mint mark is not known for any significant errors, there are minor varieties in the design that could add to its value. For example, slight die cracks, off-center strikes, or areas where the coin was under or overstruck can make these coins more desirable. Because the 1985 Washington quarter is relatively common, its value is also influenced by its condition. A coin that has been kept in better than average condition, even in circulated status, will naturally command a higher price in the auction market. Overall, this coin's collector interest is primarily driven by its historical context, design features, and its relative rarity within the 1985 issue, particularly when it's in fine condition.